as I said, quite a few issues on here at the moment, mostly with the fish. Now, I don't believe it's a water quality problem. The nitrates are low. There's no ammonia. There's no nitrite. I can put the other stats up. The TDS is about 170. We can even do the ORP. The pH is 6.7, I think, at the moment. Temperature's at 30. It's changed twice a week with RO water, 20% each time. Always cleaned, always hoovered. It's not a water quality problem. With these fish, I think your biggest enemy is stress, and your biggest enemy after that is parasites and bacteria. So that guy there stopped eating, went very thin. This one here has got white dots on his tail. If he'll turn around for the camera, you can just about see on the back of him. He's got 2 white dots on his tail. That again must be down to some kind of bacteria or something in the tank. I can't quite work it out. I can't quite work out where it's coming from. You'll notice the big yellow APD is missing. I haven't lost the fish for years. He's actually in a hospital tank at the moment because he stopped eating and went from yellow, bright yellow, really good yellow, to less yellow than this guy here, and he's supposed to be that colour. So he had issues. We'll talk about that in 1 second, because I found I can fix the problems. This one here is now eating again. He had white poo. He's not got that anymore. He just needs to put a bit of weight on. You can see that one there, terrible state. I need to try and fix him next. But there's always one that seems to be having an issue, and that's what I need to get to the bottom of. So I can fix the issues, but I need to find out why they're having the issues. As I say, I don't think it's a quality of water problem. I think it's a bacteria parasite problem. To that end, we've added a massive new UV unit. It's probably very dark under there. You can see that's on at the moment. It's a Helix version, 36 watts. The water twiddles around the bulb from the bottom right up to the top. Can't really tell if that's made much difference at the moment. I don't like treating them too much, but they've had a PP just to try and clean up the water. So they're looking better. I've also added a few more cleaning fish to keep things in a bit more order. So I highly recommend some Sturbies. And also, if I can get him on the camera, there are 3 of these guys who have completely cleared out any algae problems. And they're all doing really well. As I say, I think there's too many small fish in here, so I need to cut the numbers down. But the good news is the APD is on the mend. As I say, he was white almost. And I'll quickly run over how we fix that. But always essential is a hospital tank. I don't know how you keep these without a spare tank to put them in if something goes wrong. So there's the APD. You can see he is a lovely colour again. He started eating yesterday, so there's a little bit of mess in there, but that gets hoovered up twice a day to keep this as clean as I can. He was moved in here 2 weeks ago, so the way that I treated that, obviously you can't check the poo because there isn't any, because he's not eating anything. He just went pale, and it was obviously wasn't eating. So I moved him into here. I never move them on their own, so I picked a fairly confident, friendly fish to go along with him. I think the stress of moving him and the stress of having him on his own is only going to make him worse. So he's quite happy in there. He's had 1 week of Epsom salts, and that was, I think I did a tablespoon for 10 gallons, and then I may have added a little bit extra. And the temp went up to 33 for that week. So we can control that quite nicely on here. And that's got a big heater in there just in case. So we can put this temperature on whatever we like. It was up to 34 at one point, and you could tell that that and the Epsom salts was cleaning these fish out. They were completely empty, and there was some white stringy bits in there. Didn't bother microscoping that because obviously there's something wrong. So after a week of that, changed the water. He's then been on the Octazin for, I think that's been a week now also. And yesterday he started eating, the colour came straight back. So he isn't particularly thin, but he's getting a bit thin. So we will keep a big eye on him and make sure that he puts a bit of weight on before we move him back to the other tank. So these two can sit in here for as long as they like, unless I need to rescue someone else. but it seems to be a constant at the moment, and there's always one fish in hospital, and I need to find out why that is. I think that is the pain of having discus. I had a really good patch where nothing went wrong. They were all good, and it seems all of a sudden recently something's happened. But he is looking good again, so we're not quite so worried anymore. He'll get fed up as much as we can in here before we move him back, and we'll see how we go. So that is 1 week of Epsom salts. Ramp up the temperature, probably up to 34 if you can. Don't go above that. Don't even bother trying to feed them during that time. And also change the water, but keep the salt concentrations up. So if you take a bucket of water, take 10 gallons out, put 10 gallons back in with a tablespoon of salt in it, and you'll keep that concentration of salt at the same level. Then water change them out, then put the oxygen in. Then I lowered the temperature a bit. It's oxygen every 3 days, and then you leave it for 9. So again, if you change water in that time, make sure you keep the temperature up. You'll notice with oxygen, you get these bubbles on the top. And that's one good idea of knowing when that's gone away and it's finished. But I think after 9 days it's done. And I think it's already worked because we are seeing him feeding again quite nicely. So I know how to fix the problems, I think, from skinny fish to spironucleus to hexameter. I know why I keep getting the problems. So that's the next thing to find out. And if I work that one out, I think we've probably worked out how to keep these things quite well. This at the moment is a pain, isn't particularly fun, and it's always your best fish, isn't it, that gets the lurgy. But he is on the mend. So 2 weeks, he's gone from completely pasty to nicely bright coloured and eating again. So as I say, we'll keep him here for a bit to fatten him up. Questions, comments, subscriptions, do all that good stuff. I'm happy to answer questions. Let's see if we can work out how to keep these without all these problems. We'll get there in the end.